Well, ladies and gentlemen, it seems like Microsoft just recently made an announcement that is shocking a lot of people, myself included. Some of these announcements, honestly, I didn't see coming because, like, for example, Hi-Fi Rush, Tango Gameworks getting shut down. I honestly didn't see that happening, man. I really thought that Hi-Fi Rush was a fucking banger. It was a top game by far, and it came out of nowhere. And unfortunately for that game and that developer, it looks like it's not enough, and Microsoft shut them down amongst others as well. Now, all of this is happening around the time where we're talking about the gaming industry as a whole and what's happening inside of it, where you have these companies shutting down studios, companies getting rid of developers, firing people left and right. Every single mainstream gaming studio has fired some, amount of people at some point in time in the last year. It's been insane what's going on, and it seems like it's only getting worse. And when it comes to Microsoft, we know Microsoft has made a whole bunch of bad business decisions. Not just that, of course, they are woke as shit, and they decide to want to have, according to them, plenty of money to invest in gaming for everyone, another consultancy type group or whatever. They're able to invest in that, but they can't invest in games like Hi-Fi Rush that actually did really well and was beloved by fans. Yeah, make that make sense. So let's get into this article, guys, from That Park Place. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. So the headline reads, Microsoft shuts down Redfall developer Arkane Austin, Hi-Fi Rush developer Tango Gameworks, and more. Microsoft took the axe to multiple video game development companies in its portfolio, including Redfall developer Arkane Austin and Hi-Fi Rush developer Tango Gameworks. Arkane Studios posted to X to confirm the closure of Arkane Austin and informed Redfall players today it was announced that Arkane Austin will close and development will not continue on Redfall. Now, I don't think anybody is shocked considering how terrible of a launch Redfall had. I really don't think, you should be very shocked that that studio closed down. So them closing down the Redfall studio, I get that. It says, to everyone that has supported the work from our Austin studio over the years, thank you. Thank you for spending time in our worlds and making them your own. The statement continued. Arkane Leon will continue their focus on immersive experience where they are hard at work on their upcoming project. Redfall players who purchase the Hero Pass as part of the Premium Bite Back Edition or the Premium Bite Back Update will be eligible to receive the value of the upgrade. While there'll be no further updates, Redfall servers will remain online for players to enjoy. Well, at least that's good. For people who are playing Redfall, I don't really know how much of a fan base that game has, but for those that are actively playing it, at least they'll still be able to play it, considering that the development team is being killed off. It says Tango Gameworks also confirmed. Now, this is the one that confuses me. I just don't see why Tango Gameworks would be taken down considering their history and what they've created, but let's talk about it. Tango Gameworks also confirmed it was shutting down, writing on X. Today, it was announced that Tango Gameworks will close. Thank you to everyone that explored the worlds we created. Hi-Fi Rush, along with Tango's previous titles, will remain available and playable everywhere that they are today. IGN's Wesley Yin-Poole also reports that Microsoft shut down mobile game developer Alpha Dog Games and will merge Roundhouse Studios into the Elder Scrolls Online developer ZeniMax Online Studios. Now, that should be a pretty decent merger. I know the Elder Scrolls Online is going fairly strong. It's not one of those like top tier MMORPGs, don't get me wrong. Like, it's not a World of Warcraft and it's not a Final Fantasy 14, but it's still doing fairly okay for itself, that it's considered at least profitable enough to continue development. But again, the Tango Gameworks thing, that one is what confuses me. They've made so many good games. They were the critical successes, right? And I don't know from a sales standpoint how successful they were, but I gotta tell you, from the amount of reviews that I saw on Hi-Fi Rush and their previous games, I really feel like this studio should not have shut down. I don't think this studio was pumping out games that cost a crazy amount of money to make. I feel like they were well within the means of game development, and they were making the money back. I don't get it. That's just stupid to me. It says, in an email obtained by Yin-Poole, Xbox Studios' Matt Booty explained that the closures and layoffs, these changes are grounded in prioritizing high-impact titles and further investing in Bethesda's portfolio of blockbuster games and beloved worlds which you have nurtured over many decades. So, listen, guys, like I've said in many videos talking about the gaming industry right now, we know that there's a couple of issues happening right now that is severely holding back the gaming industry and hurting it, right? Number one, and the most obvious one that people always talk about, the wokeness, right? Like the fact that they have all this money to invest in bullshit consultancy firms that are doing absolutely nothing for their video games. It's been proven that they're actually killing off their games, and yet they continue to invest in them, right? So you complain about not having enough money. You complain about having to close down studios because you're not making enough money, or you don't have enough money to support them staying open, but yet you have enough money to hire these consultancy firms. You have enough money to waste there. That's stupid, okay? Number two, you overextended your subs dramatically. That was a bad decision. You guys thought that you were in control of the entire world once the entire world was shut down 4 years ago, and now you're realizing over time that you're just way too overextended. And now that they saw other development studios killing off some of their their base, they're going to do the same exact thing. They're going to fire as many people as they possibly could get away with without hurting production. So again, overextension and the fact that they're completely wasting money, and these games are just poorly developed. I feel like they're also poorly managed. I think management is a big issue right now. I don't know if that's because a lot of developers are remote, perhaps. It makes it harder for them to be managed. But I think that there's a big management issue in gaming right now that's affecting everybody. And I think that they need to figure out a way to up the management skills of whatever staff that's in charge of the game development, because I think that they are severely lacking the skills and the passion to get the job done these days when compared to days of yesterday. It says he added to double down on these franchises and invest to build new ones requires us to look across the business to identify the opportunities that are best positioned for success. This reprioritization of titles and resources means that a few teams will be realigned to others and that some of our colleagues will be leaving us. After going over the closures, Booty stated that with this consolidation of our Bethesda studio teams so that we can invest more deeply in our portfolio of games and a new IP, a small number of roles across select Bethesda publishing and corporate teams will also need to be eliminated. He went on to note that these changes are not a reflection of creativity and skill of the talented individuals at these teams or the risks that they took to try new things. I acknowledge that these changes are also disruptive to the various support teams across ZeniMax and Bethesda that bring our games to market. We are making these tough decisions to create capacity to increase investment in other parts of our portfolio and focus on our priority games. Now, obviously, you guys know that for them, one of their priority games is probably the upcoming new Elder Scrolls game, right? Like that's going to be a huge one for them, and I know that they need to focus on that. So I'm sure that they're getting rid of some of these studios and firing people and trying to save money here and there in order to invest in a game that's going to be fairly huge, I would imagine. I think that game is going to be a massive success. Even if it ends up being the biggest piece of shit of all time, they'll still sell a ton just from the absolute hype after Skyrim. It says Booty concluded that his email touting upcoming games and DLC for a number of its major franchises, Bethesda remains one of the key pillars of Xbox with a strong portfolio of amazing games and thriving communities. As we look to the future, there is an impressive lineup of games on the horizon. In 2024 alone, we have Starfield Shattered Space, Fallout 76 Skyline Valley, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, and the Elder Scrolls Online Golden Road. Now, I'm very curious to see just how well Indiana Jones and the Great Circle actually does. I don't know if it's going to do well. It all depends on the story and the word of mouth, but it looked pretty decent. The gameplay looked pretty decent. It looked like you were actually going to get that Indiana Jones experience, which is what anybody would really ask for when playing a game like that. So let's see if that game could save, Xbox, considering just how bad they've been doing lately. But I think this is just, a 3-step back to take 4 steps forward kind of a thing. And ultimately, we're not going to see the results of this for another couple of years, but they're starting here and they're starting now. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.